Welcome to another On the Road episode by your favorite Greek, me, Theo. It is what it is. So, I played some games, as you guys may or may not know. Obviously, if you're watching this video, you know I'm a gamer, hardcore gamer. Gamers rise up. So I've been playing a few games over the week. I played more of Resident Evil 2 Remake. I finally got out of the goddamn sewers. I hated the sewer level. I hated it. Like, I almost dropped the game because of that stupid level. I mean, the part that I hated, oh my god, the thing I hated the most in the sewer level were the new monsters they added. Because I talked to a friend who played Resident Evil 2, and I think he told me that the monsters they had in the sewers were not from the original, like the mutant shit, whatever. And I hated it. I hated fighting them. I wanted to just do nothing. I just wanted to get out of there. I hated the sewer level so much because those enemies kept blocking every little nook and cranny, and it's like, I just want to get through this, and I didn't have any ammo, and I didn't want to waste my magnum ammo on them because I knew there was going to be a boss with Birkin at some point. I just knew Birkin would show up again. I mean, after that first boss fight, it's like, yeah, he's going to be back, but I just wanted to get out of there. So I finally made it to the nest, and I gotta say, that is so far my favorite level next to the police department, because I love laboratory levels. I always think that they're kind of cool, interesting. They tell another part of the story. The sewers just don't tell a story. That's what I hated about them. Because when you go to the police precinct, you get a story with the environment, like, oh shit, look what happened. They were doing this, oh, they were setting up this little cool thing for Leon, man, oh. And you see like all these zombies, and you really feel the weight of what happened to the city. But then you get to the sewers, and it's just like, okay, we're in the sewers, like, who fucking cares? So you go to the nest, and it's like, oh man, you see these scientists, and you get a whole other side of the story. That's really what I loved about the nest so far. It's just a really solid level so far, so I'm excited. They have plant monsters, whatever, which is okay. It's not terrible. They're not terrible enemies, but they're not great. I mean, I just feel like Resident Evil doesn't need to overcomplicate these monsters. Like, I like the variety, sure, like liquors, you know, etc. But I just feel like some of these are just kind of like, what do they add? I mean, it's better than what Resident Evil 7 did. I think this is healthy for Capcom to do, because it really allows them to experiment with enemy variety, which I think was severely lacking in 7. 7 just had the same enemy type. Oh, just have this one crawl on 4 legs. Oh, have this one be a fat ass. Like, it's just, there wasn't really anything interesting about the enemies in 7 other than the boss fights. So I do like that they at least are trying to expand some enemy variety in this, because I think some of these new enemies are original designs, original enemies that they added. And I heard that they wanted to do human liquors or whatever, which is interesting. I mean, again, these are ideas that I like. I like that they're experimenting with these ideas that I think 7 just was lacking completely. 7 just feels like that it was near the final draft portion of the development. Like, they got out of the rough draft era of that development. Like, they got out of it. They're like, okay, well, let's go back and tighten it up some more. And then they were like, okay, we did that, now let's go back in and refine it even more. And by that time, it just feels like Capcom knocked on their door and said, hey, we want this out in 2017, so can you just wrap it up? And they're like, oh, well, I guess we can. You know, I just didn't like the enemy designs. They just felt kind of unfinished in some ways. So I do like in Resident Evil 2, the enemies feel more varied and interesting. So, you know, even the enemies I hated, I thought were at least interesting. Like, they offered something, but I just did not like them because there were just too much of it, and it became more of a nuisance than, holy shit, there's enemies here, you know? Like, RE4, for example, had more, like, of a threat with enemy variety. Like they had regenerators, Iron Maidens, and chainsaws, and those are like, holy shit, these are here. Like when they throw a horde of enemies, and then you see like another enemy that you hated, or like you got like the chainsaw characters. Like you really think like, oh man, these characters are this. Holy shit, they're gonna be part of this group of enemies. Holy shit! Like it starts to like get you on your feet some more. So I do like that in Resident Evil 2. There is some of that going on. Like they throw in like Mr. X with a liquor, and you're just like, oh god, I have to like fucking be quiet and then get away from Mr. X at the same fucking time, and it is just a clusterfuck. So I do like that they do that a lot in the Resident Evil 2 remake. The NES, I'm excited to get more into it. I have a feeling I'm probably gonna get bodied again. My management, I tried so hard to manage my shit, and I ended up fucking that up. So this run is gonna be painful for me. I think I don't think I'm completely fucked, because I think I'll be able to beat it, but it's just gonna be very, 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 very hard. So that'll be interesting. It's not like my Resident Evil 0 file that is completely fucked. I have Billy and Rebecca both, like, I think Rebecca's in yellow and Billy's in red, and they're separated. And with Rebecca, if I do something, the zombies in Billy's level will wake up or whatever, and both of them have like no ammo. So I'm at a part in Resident Evil 0 where like if I do what I'm supposed to, Billy will die. If I switch to Billy, Rebecca will die. I'm in a very bad spot where neither of them will make it. So Resident Evil 0 is pretty much fucked. I hit a brick wall, and I kind of don't want to go back and replay the game. That's my only thing with Resident Evil 0. Like, I like the idea, but it's just I hated some of the parts in the middle from where I started to where I am now. Like the bad boss I fucking hated, the insects I hated. Like I'm just at a part right now that's like I don't even know if I want to even go back, you know. Maybe someday I'll go back, but it's not looking too good for Resident Evil 0, honestly. So yeah, there you go from that. For that, I think 2 is in a better position, because I think 2, they're at least a little bit more forgiving in some areas. Like I think they made it so that you can at least beat the game. Like if you're not good with your ammo, I think they make it so that you can beat it if you're not great at the game. I think they might do infinite spawn ammo in some ways. I mean, I just don't see the game being super brutal with it, you know. So at least there's that. I also played a game that was on sale. I think it's still on sale all the way until the 1st of March on the PSN store. Super Hot. Now, this game has been on my radar for years. Ever since I heard of it, because I think I saw a gameplay of it when it came out on PC, and I was like, oh, this looks really awesome. I really loved the gameplay of Super Hot, and I always wanted to get into it, but, you know, me being a Mac pleb, I could never play it. For some reason, I guess they never made the game for Mac. Now, I know where you guys are going to be saying, oh, iMac, you think you could play games on that thing? Well, look at Super Hot. I think an Apple computer can run it. I'm just saying. But they ported it to PS4, because I think they also had it for PS4 VR as well. Now, I don't have a VR. I don't. I know, shocking. I got the PS4 version that's just not VR, and it's still playable. I think it works with a controller pretty well, but I think the game, you could tell, would be best played on PC with keyboard and mouse, or in a VR setup. I think it being on controller, like, it works, but you're not experiencing it fully. Like, you're probably experiencing like 90-80% of the game, And then when you get the VR or keyboard and mouse, it's like, oh, this is how it's meant to be played. But you'll still feel the same satisfaction out of it, which is really, really good. I like the satisfaction you get out of playing it. So I love Superhot. It's very immersive. I love the story, which I wasn't expecting, because I thought this would be a game where you're just going through challenge maps. I thought it was just a pure challenge game. Like, oh, just go through these gauntlets of rooms where you have to kind of use this mechanic of time manipulation to get through it. Like, because the way it works is time moves when you move. And it's a really cool mechanic. I love the feel of it. You feel like John Wick in a sense, and I think that has to do with in John Wick 2, he threw a gun. Like, he ran out of bullets and threw a gun and was able to beat up the other person, and that just felt like something that Superhot would do. So I think that's how like people attribute the John Wick feel in Superhot. But I also think it has a lot of Hotline Miami feel to it as well. Like, Hotline Miami has a very good feedback to when you beat up an enemy. It feels so satisfying and just beautiful. So I think Superhot also taps into that kind of feel where you're just like, oh shit, I threw a gun at him and I picked up his gun and killed him with it, and that's really cool. And I also like that the game keeps adding stuff to it. Like, it adds other layers that you didn't really think about before. Like, I got into it, and just as the gameplay started to feel stale, just like, you know, it starts to feel like, okay, I get it, and you're just about to understand it, the game throws something else at you, and you're like, oh fuck, this is a whole new world. And that's what I love. I love when games reinvent the way that you experience it, and Superhot does that a lot. The story, as I said, is very immersive. Like, it's surprising in a lot of ways. It keeps throwing curveballs. The story isn't very, like, dynamic, but it's very manipulative in a good way. Like, it makes you really, like, sit back and think in ways that you wouldn't really think. And the game itself just does something to your brain. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It kind of makes you start, it's like you're a right-handed person and then you start using your left hand. Like, it's like, what the fuck? So I really like how the game kind of tears down your thought process. Like, it really breaks you down, and you just have to kind of rebuild yourself from that. And that's really fun. I really like this game. It is probably one of my favorite games I played this year so far. I mean, I know it's not a game that came out this year, but from a game that I played so far, this is one of my favorites because I just love the feel of it. Another game I have played over the weekend is, guys, I have finally beaten Bayonetta 1. This has been years in the making. Years. Ever since I owned the PlayStation 3 version of the game, which everyone has said it is the worst port of Bayonetta, like the worst way to experience the game. Now, I don't think the game ran horribly on PS3. Like, it probably had issues, but I didn't think it was god-awful. I think a lot of people overreacted to how it ran on the PS3, honestly. I think the loading time was bad, and there might have been some dips in frame rates, but, I mean, whatever. But they ported it to the Wii U, which on the PS3 I didn't really got far into it. I got to the first dragon boss fight, the one where you go to like a church area, and the dragon shoves his head through the wall or whatever. It's the one where you kind of first see Cereza, the very first time you see her. But yeah, I got to that part. I died a lot, and I was like, I decided to take a break from it, and then I forgot about the game because I played other games that I like more. And then I got that 360, I think, a little bit after that, and I never got the game on 360 because I was like, why would I buy this game again? I don't know, it was a very weird time in my life. But when they announced Bayonetta 2, they're like, oh, it's gonna be on the Wii U, and we'll give you Bayonetta 1 when you buy Bayonetta 2, and I was like, oh, that's great, perfect for me. And because they added new costumes to it and all this stuff, I was really, really excited. to experience Bayonetta 1 on the Wii U, because I think that would be the most definitive way, because it ran better. So I played Bayonetta 1, and I was like, and I guess along the way, I made it further than I did on the PS3, but not too far. After that, I was like, you know what, I want to see how Bayonetta 2 compares to this so far. And my initial game plan was to kind of go between the two, and then I ended up just focusing on Bayonetta 2, and I beat Bayonetta 2, and I never went back to 1. I don't know why. I really can't tell you why that is. It just happened. And then I never went back to the Wii U. It's sad. It's a sad story, honestly. But, then I got the Switch for Christmas with Bayonetta 2 that came with Bayonetta 1. And I was like, well, I already played Bayonetta 2. I'm going to put that on the shelf. And it does play Bayonetta 1. I forced myself to play it. Like, I kind of downloaded Bayonetta 1, didn't bother putting in the cartridge for 2 until I beat 1. That was, like, my rule. Like, if I'm going to do 2, I gotta beat 1 first. So, I beat 1 over the weekend, and it was, like, I don't know what I was expecting in the final boss, but I loved it all the same. But I remember JonTron's video on Bayonetta 1, which is weird when I think about it, because JonTron hasn't done a video on a video game in, like, years. Which I'm kind of sad about. I kind of liked his video game videos, but whatever. I guess he wanted to branch out, do other things, which is fine. I like that too. I always like when YouTubers experiment with other things. Like, it makes them more, you know, unique. Like, Mega64 doesn't just do IRL skits or whatever. They do other stuff now on their channel, which I like. I like their new stuff that they do. So I can't say I'm completely disappointed with JonTron. It's just that I wish he didn't forget about the video game videos that he did. You know, I just wish that he did everything that, I don't know. But in his video, he kind of talked about the final boss and was saying, like, oh, well, this boss fight is so insane. Like, if you die at any stage of the boss fight, you have to do the whole thing all over again. It's insane. And I was just sitting there, I was like, oh shit, I don't think I'll be able to beat it. Because I'm not great with video games. Like, I've gotten better, sure, but, you know, I don't know. I just don't, I don't know what it is, but I can't, I'm not, like, super duper amazing at them. So I wasn't sure if I would be able to handle the final boss of Bayonetta 1. So I got there in the Switch version, and that final boss, I don't know, maybe they fixed it. Maybe they nerfed it since then, but I think they had checkpoints in that boss fight, because I think in JonTron's video he said that there are no checkpoints in that final boss. Like, if you died at any phase of that boss, you start at the beginning. I don't know if that's the case, because right after in that final boss, like, you fight in that sphere first, and then you go to different areas. Like, you teleport to different parts of the game or whatever with the final boss, and then you go back to the sphere. So I did that, and I died on that phase of the boss, and I instantly thought, oh, I'm gonna do the whole boss fight again, don't I? But then, you know, the game was like, oh, no, you're gonna start from this part of the game. It's like, oh, okay, that's pretty fair. So I don't know if they had checkpoints in the initial game. Maybe they made checkpoints for the Nintendo version, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. I'll have to do some research, I guess. But that being said, it was fun. I liked Bayonetta 1. It's just that you know, a lot of people were disappointed in 2, and I think the story was disappointing. I think the story was the most disappointing part of 2, and the final boss. But I think the overall game was very solid. I thought it was a good experience, because I thought it was more smooth and well paced, from what I remember. Like, I don't remember a lot of parts that I just wanted to end. Like, I'm pretty sure there was at least 1 or 2 parts that I just wish ended, but as a whole, I thought Bayonetta 2 had a better combat system. And I thought it was very smooth and fast, and I liked it a lot more. But I think 1 had a better aesthetic, and I think it had better boss fights in some ways. The only thing with 1 is that it had a lot of annoying parts. Like, I fucking hated the fucking, parts where you're riding on when you're riding the airplane and you're piloting that. I hated that part of the game. It was awful. I hated the turrets. I just wanted a pure hack and slash, and I hated some of the stuff it tried to have you do. Like, I think Devil May Cry did a better job with the boss fights. Like, oh, you just hack and slash, and there's some stuff you have to kind of, like, you know, account in it, but it's a pure hack and slash boss fight. I think Bayonetta 1 tried to do a lot of different stuff with the boss fights that were mostly annoying than fun. Like, the turret stuff I thought was a little bullshit. That boss fight near the end that you had to use the turrets on, he had an area of effect, damn it, attack, and you could not dodge it. Like, I tried to get out of the turret, and I tried to hide behind a wall or whatever, and you couldn't do it. And then I did trigger Witch Time at one point, and I still got hit. And I was like, what do they want me to do here? It's a huge beam of an attack. There's invisible walls that prevent you from going behind a wall. Like, what did they want me to do here? So a lot of the times I had to, like, kind of hoard healing just for those kind of attacks. So I hated that. I thought that it was a little bullshit in some ways, but other than that, I thought it was overall a fun experience overall. I love Bayonetta 1. I love the story, how I felt the story was oddly paced in some ways. Like, it felt like in the beginning, like, you got cutscenes, but they were just kind of like just talking about Jubilias the whole time. Like, oh, the Jubilias will come back. He's gonna, may the creator bestow the power onto the world, and this and that. Like, they kept talking about him, and that was it. Like, you know, you got some development on Jean and Cereza or Bayonetta throughout the game, but it was just very kind of here and there. But then at the end, it's like, okay, time for story time. Sit down, grab some popcorn. Let's talk about fucking what's really going on. And I kind of like that. I love games that just out of nowhere near the end just drop all of this story on you, because it plays with your expectation. It made me think of No More Heroes. No More Heroes had a very straightforward plot for the most part. Like, oh, you're just a guy that wants to be #1 on the Assassin's ranking list, and that's all the game tells you, is that, pretty much. But then by the end of the game just drops all this story on you, like, oh no, he did this for revenge. That's why he's here, and it's like, what? So I love games that do that. Like, Bayonetta 1 kind of played with that expectation, and it is over the top and goofy, but that's what makes Platinum Games such a great developer. I love their games. You know, so I'm excited for more games from them. I'm excited for Bayonetta 3 now. Ugh, I cannot wait. Like, Bayonetta 1, I think, had the best ending I have seen in a while. They reward you with, like, a dance from Bayonetta, and I loved it. Everything about that game, I loved. I loved the charm, the aesthetic, the style, the personality, and I was thinking when I finished it, you know, it's so endearing and so, like, you know, you really love the characters of Bayonetta. Like, you know, you like Luca, you like Cereza, you like Bayonetta, you like Jean, you like everyone. Like, there's not a bad character in it. The only character I kind of hate is, I think his name was Loki in Bayonetta 2, the kid. I hated him. I wish he was never in the game, to be honest. I hated that character. I hated him, but I like Bayonetta in that game. I like Jean, Enzo, the devil guy. I can't remember his name, unfortunately. I can't remember. Was it Virgil? I don't know. But or was it just Satan? I don't know. But I like these characters. You know, you really feel for these characters, even though they're just kind of goofy over the top. But they're very charming. They're very charming characters, and I liked it. I liked a lot of what the game had to offer. So I'm excited to play more of Bayonetta 3 when that comes out, and I am going to be streaming Bayonetta 2 on hard, and I cannot wait because over the weekend I was curious after I beat Bayonetta 1 if they still had the multiplayer component of 2, and the multiplayer component of Bayonetta 2 was so much fun when I played on the Wii U. I loved it. It was cool. Like, you get to bet halos and you fight alongside a person online. I mean, I don't really love the competitive nature of it, but I love the that you both beat up enemies. I do love that, and that kind of would make me want to go back to it. And I almost played it consistently too on the Wii U, but the reason why I stopped was people kind of dropped it like a rock on the Wii U. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I mean, it might have been because of the player base on the Wii U just didn't really care about the multiplayer, and they just wanted the story, and then they moved on to another game. I don't know. Maybe they bought a PS4 or something, but you know, and I was curious to see if they had it, which they did, and to see how alive it was, because, you know, the Switch sold a lot of units. So, you know, I'm curious. I was curious to see if God, these drivers, man. To see how alive it would be. And it's still kind of dead, which made me sad, but I did find a partner the one night I tried, which was pretty fun. It was pretty cool. I liked it. I liked it a lot, actually. But I can't say that... well, no, maybe I can't say. I don't know what I'm talking about at this point. But it's fun. I mean, I will keep that up. I can't fucking talk. Jeez, I'm like all over the place right now. Gotta calm down. I'm like driving, and there's all these people going in and out of lanes, and it's like raining or snowing or whatever. It's like these people are insane right now. It's like the weather isn't great, and you want to drive like fucking maniacs. Okay. I mean, I would still try to find partners in Bayonetta 2, but I mean, I just don't have any expectations anymore. I think I'm just gonna play the story, try to do online sometimes, and then that's it. So I don't know. Hopefully, I'll be able to play the multiplayer a little bit more than I did on the Wii U. Hopefully, because Bayonetta 2 had a lot of good gameplay elements in it, and when I did the co-op over the weekend in 2, I really loved the combat. It was so fast. It was insane. Like, I liked it a lot more than 1, and I think they also added a more of a like a double trigger to it, because I think they had it in 1, but it was this kind of, you never really felt the need to use it, and I think in 2 they actually made it have a bigger role, you know. Or maybe I'm misremembering shit. I don't fucking know. Excuse me, dude, okay? Sound good? But yeah, I really loved what they did with Bayonetta 2. I love the combat, so can't wait to play more of it. Because I know a lot of people were just disappointed with 2. I don't think it was that bad. I don't think it's as good as 1 in some ways, but I think it does a lot of things better than 1. I think in 3, what I hope is they take the good parts of 1 and the good parts of 2 and put it together, and you get a good game. I think 3 is gonna be better. I think 2, they were just, you know, nervous. Oh, are people gonna understand the game? Should we assume that these people played Bayonetta 1? I don't know. Maybe we should just make a story that, you know, anyone could hop into and not really worry about playing 1, and maybe. And maybe make some references to 1, but, you know, make it so that it's accessible. And hopefully 3, it's like, fuck it, we're just gonna assume we played it, because they ported the games over, and I mean, they had a lot of time to play 2 and 1 at this point. I mean, come on. So hopefully 3 furthers the franchise, story-wise and gameplay-wise. I think it will. I have a good feeling about Bayonetta 3. I have a good feeling in my bones. Now, I know there was some speculation or worries, because I think one of the Bayonetta people left Platinum Games, and they were like, oh, what does this mean for Bayonetta 3? But I think what was said was the guy worked on Bayonetta 3 before he left. So whatever he did was done in 3. It's just that now whoever's there is there, you know. I mean, as long as I feel like if Kamiya is still working for Platinum Games, they have someone there that's supervising. Because I don't think Kamiya has a big role in 3. Because I think he had a bigger role in 1, and I think in 2 he just stepped down as I think he was just a supervisor or something like that. I don't remember. I would ask Kamiya, but I don't want him to block me. So I'm just gonna do some research, I guess, on my own, but I don't think he had a big role in 2, and I don't know if he has a role in 3 other than being a supervisor. But he works but I still think he works in Platinum Games. So as long as he's supervising or has some capacity there, I think Bayonetta 3 is in good hands. And I can't say I'm ever disappointed with them. And now a lot of people are going to bring up the Korra game they worked on and these other licensed titles they worked on, but honestly, guys, obviously those games were made to make money. I mean, because I think they licensed those games and they had a small small team of people working on it, because I think they wanted they wanted to work on these games to fund other projects, you know. And I think I talked about it before in another video, so you can always go back to those videos, I guess, to find where I mentioned this. But I think they did it mostly to fund other projects. I don't think they put their all, and I don't think the companies they worked with allowed them to. You know, I don't think Viacom and Activision allowed Platinum Games to really polish the Korra game. I think they wanted to come out at a certain point to drum up hype for a new season of Korra or some shit like that, you know? I just don't believe that Platinum Games made it the way that they wanted to make it, you know? So I don't really consider those games as Platinum Games. I just consider those as just we need to make a game to fund other projects kind of games. I mean, they also worked on Nier Automata, and that was fucking great. So there you go. So I'm really excited for Bayonetta 3. I'm also excited for Astral Chain. Astral Chain looks really good. You know, I didn't know what to expect when I was going into that trailer, but the moment I saw the people working on it, I was like, yeah, I'm in. Because they have, I think the director worked on Anarchy Reigns and Nier Automata, and I was like, Anarchy Reigns? That guy's working on this? Anarchy fucking Reigns, dude. I love Anarchy Reigns. That game gets no love, and it pisses me off. I love that game. That game and Mad World. Dude, if Platinum Games made a sequel to either of those titles, I would be all in. Like, I would love a Mad World 2. I would love Anarchy Reigns 2. Anarchy Reigns, I thought, you know, had a lot of potential, but I think the fucking company, Sega, fucked it over. Because Sega didn't love the game. Sega, and I think Sega didn't really care about Platinum Games at all. Because I think that's one of the reasons why you never see Platinum Games work with Sega ever again. And you notice that. Like, after Bayonetta and Mad World and Anarchy Reigns, they never went back to Sega ever again. And I think that's very telling of their relationship. It's kind of like why you don't see them go back to Capcom either. I mean, I think they're not against going back to Capcom for some games, but I don't think they're gonna be running to Capcom anytime soon. But yeah, it's very telling why they don't do games with Sega anymore. But I love those games. I really would love to get a sequel to those games. I loved Mad World, Jack Heyman, ooh, Matilda, who was who worked with Black Baron, and then they made a character in Anarchy Reigns that was the Black Baron, but they called him Blacker Baron, which was pretty odd. It was pretty unique, if you ask me, to make a sequel to a character, pretty much. So I loved it. I loved everything about Anarchy Reigns. So when I saw that guy was working on Astral Chain, I was like, yep, getting this game, definitely. And I wonder if they have a co-op component, because you saw 2 characters play in that trailer, so I wonder if they could do co-op. That'd be, dude, they do co-op? Oh man, that's insane. That's insane. Oh man, I want more info on that game. And I wonder when it's coming out. I hope it's coming out this year. Well, that's like optimistic. That's like, you know, some optimism that I have for that game. But I know that, but they also said Bayonetta 3 is coming out this year as well, I think, and that's pretty cool. I'm excited. I'm excited for that. Platinum Games has never let me down. Yet, you know, a lot of people also was disappointed with Metal Gear Rising, but I love that game. That game was awesome. And I think that out of all the Platinum Games titles, that had the most like grounded story when you compare to other Platinum's titles. And I think that's mostly because it's a collaboration between them and Kojima Productions. Because I think they ran ideas between the two. Like, I think some of the story was Kojima production staff, and the other part of the story was Platinum Games. Because I was reading the development blogs of Rising when that was coming out, and there was a lot of, you know, a lot of people like shat on that game, like, oh man, look at this. But there was a lot of love put into that game. You know, a lot of people were like, oh, well, you see, it's not Metal Gear. There's no fucking stealth. But, dude, they put a lot of love in that game. A lot of love. One of the artists was about to put in his retirement papers. Like, he was ready to leave and be like, okay, I want to work on a smaller capacity. And he walked by this conference room of them talking about Metal Gear, and he was like, dude, I love this game. I love Metal Gear. I'm not gonna fucking step down now. This is, and he decided to postpone his wish to be on a lower capacity to, like, no, I'm gonna work on this game. And he worked on it, and he was able to work with Shinkawa, and he was, dude, when I was reading the blogs, he gushed a lot. He was like, dude, I gotta work with Shinkawa. I was very nervous to pass by these character designs to him, and he loved all of them. And I was like, oh shit, this is insane. And yeah, I mean, everyone there loved the games. They were huge fans of Metal Gear, and you could say, oh, this is PR talk, but I mean, when I played it, I kind of saw there's some love into it. So I can't say that Platinum Games fucked over that game. They loved that game. They put a lot of effort into it, and the people like Kojima Productions also put love into it. I mean, I think it was a very passionate project from both parties. And, you know, not a lot of people loved it, which is fine. I'm not saying you have to love it because, you know, I love it, but I loved it for what it was. I thought it was a very, very, very solid game. So, Platinum Games is really one of my favorite developers. And I was gonna get an Xbox One just to play Scalebound. I literally was, like, when they announced it, I was like, I might want an Xbox One now. And then Microsoft canceled it. I was like, okay, Microsoft, I'm not buying an Xbox One. Thank you for saving my money for me. So, Microsoft fucked up. They almost had me. They almost had me, and then they canceled Scalebound and kind of put the nail in the coffin for me. I might get an Xbox One at some point, but I just don't have any desire right now because, I mean, they don't have any games that I want. I would love to play Gears of War 4, Sunset Overdrive, and shit like that, but those games are not, I could die not having to play those games, you know? So, that's just my take. I know I am not at my destination just yet. Just so you guys know, I am getting food for the bun right now. And I need to get hay as well. But I don't know why I should get hay, because, so, get this for the bun. I get all this hay for her. Put it in her cage so that she can stay nice and warm. It started snowing last night. Right before I go to bed, I look outside my window. Do you know where Cleo fucking is? And you know, like, I also put a tarp so that it would protect her from the wind as well and all this stuff. You wanna know where Cleo is? She stood on top of the hutch staring at me. And I was like, Cleo, I gave you hay. I gave you all this shit to keep warm. And she's just standing out there like it's nothing. This rabbit, I'm telling you, everyone's like, Theo, aren't you afraid that Cleo's getting cold in this? Dude, she can fucking take it. She is a champ. she laughs at the cold. She laughs at the fucking winter. She's like, oh, you think that you're not like me. I was born in the winter. I was born in the snow. You were not born in the snow. You think the snow is your enemy, but snow is my friend. And it's just like, God damn it, Cleo. I want you to be warm, and you're just sitting out in the cold like it's nothing. And it's just like, what is up with this rabbit? This rabbit is tough. I'm telling you. I am telling you right now, if you fuck with this rabbit, she could probably kill you. She is a tough fucking rabbit. I know some of it is kind of like a meme that I kind of made about Cleo, but I'm telling you, when I see her like that during like cold weathers, it's just like, what is up? What is wrong with this rabbit? She is just standing in the cold. She's not in the hutch with where the hay is. She's, you know, nowhere in parts of the cage that would be warm. She is just like, fuck it, you know, hey, it's snowing, fuck it, this is like fucking nothing for me. And it's like, damn, this rabbit, she is training for something. I'm telling you, she is getting ready to do something. I'm telling you, this rabbit put in dedication, effort, passion into being a tough bun. That's all I gotta say. I mean, I would not want to fuck with this rabbit, if you ask me. If you ask me, Theo, you want to fuck with this rabbit? I'd be like, fuck no. Okay, I'm gonna go. So, yeah, that's it for this episode of On the Road. I would like to thank you guys for watching this video, and hopefully you like more videos from me in the future. And I hope you come by one of my game streams of Bayonetta 2 on hard. I'm sure it's gonna have a lot of fucking rage, because, you know, I'm a salty motherfucker sometimes. But thank you for watching. You guys know how to support me if you really want to support me. But other than that, thank you for watching. I will see you guys next time.